Wake up, everybody. I know you're enjoying listening to this wonderful Twitter curated music this morning. I've let that go at least 2 loops through because it's such a wonderful tune. Alts, how you doing this morning?
That's nice, Alts. Good to hear.
Alts is doing great. He has a new setup, so there's a chance he can't figure out how to come off mute. Or he's talking and he thinks he's not muted.
Well, last time I was interrupting him. And I was the one rugging.
Oh, now he's off mute. Can he talk? Nope, still struggling to get this thing up and going. All right, while we work through technical difficulties with our many-armed friend, I have already posted up at the top. I realize we're going to talk about LUKSO a lot, but I'm going to take a victory lap real quick, and I am going to post this Los Angeles Lakers post up here at the top, where, don't mind my keys jingling, you see LeBron James on the right, and if you haven't seen his feet yet, just click on that picture and zoom in. Zoom all the way in, and you might see a blade on his foot because he's wearing one of the Vont Black Season 1 Air Force Ones from the Clone X project. Look at that thing from Artifact. Aren't those things gorgeous? Hemi, what do you feel about that?
About time. But him having those on, man, I've been thinking as well, like, I think LeBron's gonna really turn up for the playoffs, and I'm back in Lakers, man. And now he's got those kicks on. What are they? Demons? Demon time, baby. It's bullish. Definitely bullish for the space. People start seeing.
Now those are the Genesis, Hemi. Those are the Genesis ones.
Well, hopefully they got the whole inventory for him, man. Next game we got humans and so forth and so on. But definitely bullish, man, for the space and moving forward with this tech. All I'm seeing is, what are those? What's that? You know.
I mean, so far he's undefeated wearing Artifact swag into a game, right?
Wow, the vocal quality of Alts Anonymous right now, level up. The texture of your voice is just incredible. I'm glad you figured that setup out.
I did not figure it out. I could not get. I could hear you guys, but for some reason I couldn't. You guys couldn't hear me, so I'll have to troubleshoot.
Yep, gonna have to shoot trouble as I invert those words. All right, so I mean, everyone's here to talk the news. That this is truly mainnet. Get it? It's from May. I saw that somewhere. I think it was Cookin. He put MAY apostrophe N, right? Mainnet. I can't believe that it's coming in May and almost in time for our birthday, Alts, which is incredible. It's like it was kismet. It's meant to happen.
Yeah, I think it was. The universe wrote that out years ago. We just didn't know it.
Oh, seriously. And 23-5-23, I love how stylish this team is. They do things and it just looks right. 2-3-5-2-3, and the numerology of it, 2 + 3 is 5, and it could be like 5-5-5. Just it's really cool all the way around. I'm digging every piece of this, and I finally have an answer as to the date of soon, the thing that's been literally driving me insane for so long. Now I know when soon is. Just count back however many days from when they said soon, right, to now. That's how many days soon means. So the next time that Fabian says soon, we know that's how many days it is.
It's such an iconic date for me, man. Can't believe that's it. That's the exact date. My brother passed away like 5 years ago. It was really big. He's really big here and well known in Melbourne. Really big with energy and everything, man. His number was 23, and that happens to be his birthday. Couldn't believe it. So every birthday that I continue, or our family continue to celebrate for him, will now be LUKSO's anniversary. So for me, it's such an iconic date.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it, dude.
It's all right. I'll play one of his songs if you guys don't mind, but he was definitely ahead of his time, man, and was onto it, bro. But yeah, moving forward, the future is.
The future is, and I just posted a tweet up there at the top from Lux Solum, which again, I have no idea how you pronounce that. So anyone, feel free to correct me because that name just fries my brain every time I look at it. I don't, is it like Gollum, but for LUKSO? Is it like my precious? Is that what he's saying? LUKSO, you're free to listen to this and then get back to me with the proper pronunciation at any time. But he's got financial advice for everyone this morning. If you want to secure your family's financial future and to live the life you've always dreamed of, then you should pay attention to LUKSO right now. I say that tongue in cheek because we should never tell people what they should do with their money unless you are a certified financial planner and or advisor. But because we're a bunch of morons on Twitter talking in a Twitter space right now, I'm going to tell you that I'm super bullish on LUKSO, and I may or may not have tried to secure my family's financial future through the purchase of this token, FYI. So if you are like me, then you're probably pretty bullish this morning. And I understand why, because like I said, mainnet's coming on the 23rd. When that came out yesterday, when that news broke, I had an out-of-body experience. The old Etholorian that has been a bear for a few months, he died, and then the soul left the body of that Etholorian and ascended the magic staircase to a new location where everyone is excited. It's bathed in pink light, and we know that all of the development that has been going on in the background is going to finally start to pop out, and we'll finally start to get the answers to the magic questions of who is behind the partnerships on LUKSO, because that is a question that's like the unanswerable question that a lot of us have been dicking around with for far too long now. Anyone else share that out-of-body experience yesterday?
I mean, I didn't have quite the same experience. But yeah, I mean, it just becomes a bit surreal, right? Because it's like, it's kind of, I went through the same kind of thing with Artifact and clones, right? Trying to imagine how this stuff would kind of unfold, because all you have is speculation for years, right? And yeah, so it's like all we could imagine was some of this stuff happening, and then here we are. And I know we all have our imaginations of these NDAs and the partnerships and who's been building quietly in the shadows, in the pink shadows, But to be able to, to see that next step happen, and once we start peeling off NDAs, and once we get, some tier ones and whoever else, whatever else we can kind of see as mainnet unfolds. Yeah, it's like every step we've got to stop and kind of be like, oh man, yeah, been a long time coming, but it feels good, right?
It's been an incredibly long time coming. And like so many people have taken to spreading the FUD virus around projects that build quietly because, everyone has their metric for what they think is a team working hard in the NFT space. Like just looking this morning, because I think clones are taking their victory lap. Some of the tweets were like, well, your founders are shitposting on Twitter all day. Real founders are building real partnerships. I saw someone post that out, which I thought was hilarious. But as I look at LUKSO here, going back to, like, this goes back like 4 or 5 years, looking at Ethereum and saying, oh my God, is Ethereum dead? Are we having a problem here? Is this going to be a real issue going forward? Is Bitcoin really going to never lose its status, its primacy status here? Are there other blockchains that are going to come up and usurp Ethereum's idea? Well, one thing that I know I always looked at with my brother, we'd always look at active developers, right? Like who is building what, how many lines of code are being committed weekly. And Jean Cavaliera from LUKSO, if you click on that tweet that I just posted above, he's showing that the LUKSO developers are some of the busiest developers out there at the moment, which is great. That's just showing that we have a lot of active development going on LUKSO, and that's what you want to see for any blockchain ecosystem that's going to be healthy. So I just posted that tweet at the top. There's lots of good people that you should be following in this space. If you're not following the developer teams from LUKSO, then you're nuts, right? Because these guys, men and women, are always out there and they are actually posting great content. And then by derivative from that, the amazing developers that we have that are in our community, like, that have definitely worked maybe as interns for LUKSO, like Boost in our community, or maybe they might be full-time there now, or people who have started on other projects and moved over there, like Samuel, who's listening now. Like, these are people that you should be following because they're building the next wave of dApps that we should all be paying attention to. And I might have gone too long there, but this is a real plug for the real builders in this space. You should be following them. I mean, you can follow influencers that are like Wolf of LUKSO and Wolf of Ethereum that are going to tell you we're going to the moon every day. Like, that's really fun. That's called eye porn. But if you really want to see substance and you want to know and you want to feel good about the project that you're backing, then you should get behind these developers and see what they're putting out, because these guys are really just what I want to call heroes, right? Heroes. That's what I want to say, Alts.
I like that, ETH. Yeah, it's such a different dichotomy, right? As far as like the projects in the space that are, I mean, basically dead. I mean, if you just kind of scroll through the top 50 coins, like there's just so many that are, as Wolf would put them, vaporware, or that are, just dead, that even the founders themselves just walked away. But yet there's just enough liquidity still where it just kind of, I don't know, they just trade. And a lot of them are just like older projects that people recognize, so they trade them, right? But nobody actually, like a lot of people don't even ever use them or whatever. And it's definitely a difference, right? Even with like Pepe, right? We saw that, like you can just be a meme and you can explode, right? But that's a completely different set of gambling, parameters. Like with LUKSO, it's like you're trying to identify the future where the space is going to move, and then you're setting up shop there, right? You're investing in the infrastructure and in actual true innovation that will change the space, right? Because I mean, there's a big difference, right? But like, you also want to help support the ecosystem in the future of the space the way you want to see it. How Pepe's not going to help the future, right? Let's be real. It's just a game of hot potato. Like, I'll talk about this and get somebody else to buy it, and then I'm out, right? And then just like, you don't want to be one left holding that bag, as opposed to infrastructure bags. Like, you want to be holding that bag as much as you can, right? But it's a much longer time frame because hot potato is a very fast evolving game. Infrastructure takes time, like you mentioned Ethereum, right? You have to kind of look past the noise and just try to predict what the future is going to be. But yeah, like I think there's just a much different strategy. I played the game of hot potato. I used to play back in the day, during shitcoin seasons and mania back in the day. It was fun. There really wasn't much else you could do. But now there's actually like, actual innovation happening. So you have to dig a bit deeper, to find these projects. But whenever you do, it's a much more fruitful endeavor, in my opinion, and it's much more fun, less stressful. It's just a longer time frame, so you get to kind of chill a bit.
Shitcoin season. Yeah, it's a game of greater fools where someone has bought the bag before you and they're just trying to sell it to you. You are their exit liquidity. That is effectively what it is. You should be very careful playing that game. And I probably telling people in this room that don't play the game, or they probably play it expertly, because if you're here, you're probably pretty savvy. You have to be savvy to identify the value of something like the ERC-725, and then all of the development that has gone on top of the 725 by the smart contract team at LUKSO. Yaman being one of those smart contract developers, he's actually a pretty fantastic educator. Again, another one of these must follows on Twitter. If you really are into this ecosystem, put up a thread about the 725, some of the changes that it has undergone, and just what it's basically about. I posted that thread at the top. I'm not going to go through an intricate discussion of it. One, I'm definitely not the type of person that should be doing that. And two, I think that that's something that you should grapple with and do more research on yourself. So I just put it up there because that's like a must follow. And if you're following Yaman and you're following Gene, then you're probably going to find Felix. And then from Felix, you're going to find Hugo. And if you move on and on, you'll get a nice base of the team at LUKSO. They're not like really flamboyant Twitter personalities. They're not going to jump out and try to attract attention to themselves. But if you find them, they are great people, really engaging, and I think super valuable follows. The only problem is Twitter has got that godforsaken for you section and has destroyed the curated Twitter feed that I used to enjoy so much. So you have to remember to flip back over to your following in order to ensure that you will see everything that they put up. I know yesterday, the second that I liked the LeBron tweet with the Air Force Ones on his feet, my entire Twitter feed filled up the For You section. You would have thought it was just Twitter of LeBron's feet. Like, that's pretty much what the algorithm wanted to show me. So, that's Twitter, and we all love Twitter. That's why we're here. Yeah, I don't know. LeBron's feet, it's always on my mind right now. That and mainnet. So which L1 has the best standards for adoption? Alts, who was the winner of that poll?
I mean, it's still going on for 4 more days, so it's hard to tell. It's going to come down to the wire for third and fourth place. LUKSO is destroying it. It's like 78%. Ethereum at 13%. Cardano and Polkadot are bringing in the rear at 4 and 5%.
I don't know. So you're saying my vote for Cardano was overwhelmed by others?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like voting third party.
Well, that's unfortunate. I don't like that at all. This is where I want to say, anybody who's listening, you want to come up here, you want to chat, please do. It's always open. We love to hear your voices. Otherwise, we're going to be talking primarily about the inbound mainnet on the 23rd and the blockchain that's going to bring, or is positioned to bring, the next billion users onto the blockchain. That's what I'm saying. You can disagree with me. I just won't care what you have to say. I'll tell you, what was really cool is I went and I deposited my validators onto the blockchain the other day, and took a while. I went through the entire process, and I was going to eat the gas because I missed the initial 7,000 that were deposited. And I said, it is what it is. I really want, one, to support this ecosystem, so I'm going to make the deposit, and I want to be able to flex that I was there at the beginning. So regardless of what it costs, I'm going to make this deposit. So I went ahead, I made the deposit, only to have literally about 36 hours later, the team at LUKSO tell me that they are going to reimburse all of that gas up to the 10,000 mark. The team did not have to do that. I think that is a fantastic gesture from the team in Berlin. Like, super, super appreciative for that move. And I know then that pretty much just pushed us right over the 10,000 mark, right? Because everyone that scrambled to get that free gas who hadn't already, and that is pretty much the mark that Fabian said he wanted. He said in an ideal case, 10,000 were there. 4096 was the minimum number of validators needed to safely launch, but 10,000 would be ideal. And friends, we are at 10,000. Yes.
I didn't even know that, man, that he's going to reimburse up to 10,000. When was that announced?
It was part of the mainnet announcement yesterday.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even pay attention. My eyes have been everywhere, bro. Like you said, my posts have been blowing up about Artifact, LeBron, this and that. That's crazy news, man. Sick as.
Yeah, you gotta read those Medium articles. Gotta read them line by line.
Man, I ain't got no time, bro. Let me tell you, I'm working like a dog, pretty much doing 7 days a week now, 12-hour days, up until mainnet. Come on, ETH, bro. I need this $50 to hurry up so I can follow in your footsteps and start building for real. Awesome news, though.
You aren't joking, my friend. You are not joking. Many of you are probably waiting for things like $50. I just muted everyone with my fat fingers. I'm sorry. Everyone probably has prices that they are looking for, and I understand why. I'm not looking for prices to extract anything from the ecosystem. In this case here, I have this arbitrary boundary of $50 licks because I know at that point, given validators that have been deposited, given the general outlook of the ecosystem, if we're there, we're probably successful. If we're there sustainably, and if this blockchain ecosystem is sustainable and successful at a $50 licks, again, $50 US, that is slowly being inflated away. So let's talk about it in today's real value. Then I feel very comfortable embracing this work in Web3 full time. But until then, I'm going to be a conservative bastard and pinch my pennies and wait, right?
I say just manifest it, bro. Manifest it. That way you can. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us just want to find a way to do this full time and stay in this space that we love and leave the rest behind as soon as we can. I'm sure you're not alone in that one, ETH.
No, I feel alone.
Yeah, I was about to say definitely not, but I feel you, man. I'm getting a lot of people hitting me up and saying, like, oh, LUKSO mainnet, is that available on OpenSea? And I'm just like people don't understand yet, man. It's just so many people aren't here yet. Like, it's amazing how early we still are. There's like a lot of people out there that just know Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then like that's pretty much it, you know. And it's crazy how early we still really are to everything. So for me, seeing LeBron and those artifacts was, you know, something, in my opinion, a huge deal. See how we go with the dot swoosh and everything, but I'm so excited for the future. And like you said, to be building on this blockchain that we have.
Absolutely. So I've just posted up at the top. This is a great segue into like more serious discussion, because I could just sit here and like look wistfully at the blue sky morning and think about the piles of pink coins that I could dive into like Scrooge McDuck and swim around in, do the backstroke in. But I don't think that's productive for anyone. Instead, I think what I posted up at the top, Jake Prince made a video, Vlad posted it, Fabian then retweeted this bad boy. This video from Universal Page is going to be a game changer. If you're a creator in this space, this is going to it is going to democratize the ability to launch your project onto this new blockchain and take advantage of NFT 2.0. You're not going to need a giant developer team behind you. You're like, if you don't have that technical ability, everything is done through the graphical user interface. And I think that this is going to be real game changer for a lot of people. And Fabian, you can see up at the top, absolute epic, right? That's what he said, because it's going to allow a lot of people, if like I was saying, I just want to I want to give my time to Web3 full time. That's what I want to do. I want to find ways to do it. Something like Universal Page is going to allow more people to realize that dream in a venue in which they find meaning by releasing their creations out to the world. It's going to also allow business teams to come together around these projects. And this is where I'm going to make another plug here, because I think it's a really important plug. And it's not something that I spend a lot of time talking about lately, but like the team at KeysDAO, you have to understand, is working every single day to build a platform where people can come together and collaborate. They can come together and collaborate and build projects from the ground up. So you could come into KeysDAO as an existing project and leverage the services of KeysDAO for something like marketing. You could also come to KeysDAO if you had a project, and you could be hooked up with their legal department, where they've curated a number of legal experts that are there to give you advice. There's lots of different departments that are available there. But what I'm saying is, if you're not aware of the social DAO that is being built as a part of KeysDAO, which could help enable you on your blockchain journey, then that's something that you should really pay attention to. KeysDAO aims to be the first DAO on LUKSO, the first true DAO on LUKSO, and social DAO on LUKSO. And it's really got a great group. Started from a simple idea, really, an idea. I always will think back to the night that we had the idea. But it's really more from there into something so much bigger, so much better, and encompasses so many of our great community members and real legends. One of those guys, I'm going to call it right now, Rob G down there. Rob, I followed the docs that you put together, really, maybe what feels like 6 months ago, for staking, and that you and Jordy added tutorials to and video clips for, to set up my node. And I followed it to the line. It was super easy to follow, super valuable resource. Again, you can find that on the LUKSOverse. Rob G put an incredible amount of time in it. Rob G, one of the core contributors at KeysDAO, working closely with Jordy, one of the founders at the LUKSOverse. So yeah, these are all ways. I'm just naming a bunch of places where you can get involved, because I'm so damn bullish on this ecosystem right now. So I just saw a tweet from Louis. I got to check that out. Alts, did you see that thing come through? Otherwise, I'm going to dig that thing out right now.
Yes, I did. Louis' tweet said, before I joined LUKSO, community to me was almost a buzzword, a word shield to entice people to invest in projects, prove credibility, etc. But I never saw the impact of communities in the seat I sat in, so I never saw the real impact of communities. Now I get it. She's speaking truth there. Like, you really can't understand what a community is in Web3 until you actually like are in one, right? Like it's something that you can really understand from the outside. So yeah, well said on that, Louis. And going back just a sec to what you were talking about, ETH, and that Universal Pages post, yeah, like the ability for like someone to launch an entire project, basically like the equivalent of a website with like an NFT and a smart contract and all that stuff without, like, literally by yourself in a matter of minutes off of just a universal profile. Like, you won't need an exchange or a MetaMask or an OpenSea. You can literally just create it, mint it on your universal profile, and someone can actually buy it from you directly from your universal profile. Like, just the way commerce will change and the way creations will change, it's going to be insane. And Keys is, yeah, those guys are just grinding so hard, and it's going to be so needed because of this new like budding ecosystem. It's going to the exponential growth is going to be kind of crazy. The network effect, right? It's going to be a bit turbocharged because of we're launching, like LUKSO's launching with a suite of tools to build and create and network with, right? Because no other blockchain's ever done that before. And like DAOs, as currently constructed on Ethereum, aren't really DAOs, right? It's You can't really be a DAO unless you're actually like decentralized and autonomous, right? So like I'm so damn excited to see use cases, unfold, utilizing keys and showing like for instance, even if you wanted to, work with the people that you saw in a project that you believe in, and that say an NFT drops and you're like, oh, I love this. I love their project, the art, the website, the contract is legit, their dev and everything. Like, you can just go through their universal profile and actually see, who worked on it, because we have, on-chain identity and reputation with these new standards. So then you could use the social feature and contact. And that's another thing too, is like, imagine you saw a piece of art out in the multiverse, you're playing VR, and you're like, oh, I love these shoes. Who made them? Where do I buy them? It's like, okay, well, you'd be very hard to even find that, right? Or if you see a dope, you see a clone on OpenSea, you're like, oh, I love that one, but it's not for sale, but I would love to hit up them and see if they would take an offer or a trade or whatever. It's like, there's really no way to contact them. But, if everything's tied to your universal profile, you could just ping them directly and DM them and message them. And so just like the social graph of that is going to completely evolve too, which I think is really cool. But yeah, just shout out Keys and everyone crushing it with Keys.
It's a network of people, right? That makes up a social graph. This small community that's come together has been super organic. I think that's what, Fabian has said from the beginning. If we're going to be successful, it's because of organic adoption. It's not going to be because we went, by we, I mean like the LUKSO team went and like marketed to every human being on the planet. Like, that's not how these things get adopted. That's not how we reach 10,000 validators. We reached 10,000 validators because there were enough people that have come together in an organic fashion to believe in this ecosystem, to want to risk that money, to come together to support this blockchain ecosystem going forward. This community of people has been, let's say, tested by the trials of time. The bonds have been forged in the flames of disaster, even though it's perceived disaster because it was literally just waiting. But like, it truly has strengthened a lot of the bonds here, and it's a really, really strong ecosystem. And a little bit of alpha alert. Louis sent me a message, said they're going to make a hire today. They made a hire, and there's going to be an announcement today on Twitter that he thinks is going to, fit the right way, or like really feel good for the community. And I think that like that's like, again, great. What I like about the team in Berlin is they understand that this community is a little wild. I don't think early on they ever would have guessed that you would have, for a layer one blockchain, idiots like us that are going to go and post pink as a lifestyle and make incredible AI art. Take AI to make generative art specifically about flamingos and pink art. hard to broadcast LUKSO like Mintz has been making nonstop for, I don't even know now, months. Like, it's just, that's the fire, that's the power of this small community that we have here, and it continues to go, which is awesome. I'm looking at a Texture Punk with the pink hoodie, right? Texture in Ethereum, who Texture came out the other day and says he support Fabian's the real deal. In the Texture Punks, they were pink hoodies, and then we were like, oh my god, LUKSO pink hoodie. Everybody who is in the LUKSO community immediately went out, and if you wanted a Texture Punk, you got a Texture Punk with the pink hoodie to support LUKSO. Like, it's just outrageous, the cult-like following that has happened here, but it's such a comfortable spot to be. I think every person that's in this community is just really genuinely interested in what is going on, and at the same time genuinely interested in positive outcomes for others in this community. So that's why I see any development by any creator in something like Universal Page is going to be so incredibly supported early on, especially early on while the community is small. There's like no doubt in my mind that we will gain network effect. The early projects are going to gain network effect around. Did I get rugged with the phone call?
You got rugged right at the end. But no, yeah, like you're right, ETH. Like the organic development of not only the project, right, and its adoption, but like also of the community, right? It's you attract a different level of, community members if you're Pepe Coin, right? Or if you have VCs and marketing and it's more about just the short-term monetary gains as opposed to building actual sustainable infrastructure, right? You're going to attract a completely different class. But it's also like the barrier of entry of LUKSO. I mean, it's on the higher end, right? It's way more curated. You can't understand its scope of it in 5 or 10 seconds, right? There is no elevator pitch that you need a building with 725 floors. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think that the people that are here, we definitely do our own research, and we've learned to have way more patience than everyone else, right? So yeah, but that's allowed us to really kind of sit back and shape the community and foster the kind of growth that we want to see and the values that we believe in, right? But also to have fun, you know what I mean? We like you said, we found our own ways, whether it's AI art or pink pill. I love the fact that like the community came up with pink pill, and that the team took it and ran with it. And I mean, even going back to the OG days, we're like doing ridiculous face swaps, whatever, just to kind of have fun as we're waiting. But yeah, the waiting is up now, fam. Like, mainnet's here. God, it's just crazy. It's still right, like 20 days. We're starting this beast.
I know it. I did. Whenever you say mainnet's here, it's like, again, I have that moment of, I think I posted the GIF yesterday of Tom from Tom and Jerry laying on the ground like he just died, and soul's leaving his body, going up the staircase to heaven. And I realize that's being overly dramatic and very hyperbolic with my statement there. But see, knowing that this has been 2 years of ardent support, because that's what it's been. I have literally been here in this community supporting vocally for 2 years. I think a lot of those early face swaps are because in some early Telegram groups, we came together and said, you know what, we're going to try to raise the profile of LUKSO, and we're just going to provide marketing. Like, LUKSO's not going to market. That's not what they do. We're going to market the community. We're going to market the people in the community. That's what we're going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So those were like Ready Player One memes, and those were the face swaps early on. And it's just because a bunch of us knuckleheads got together and decided that we were going to do it. That was 2 years ago. For us to finally be here now and reflecting on everything that has transpired in 2 years, how the team has grown, like how the project has evolved, the great people that now are interacting with us from Berlin, like the work that they're doing. It's just, you know, I don't know. It's definitely a moment to reflect. It's a little bit of a calm now before we get mainnet, because when mainnet comes, I think we're going to see a flood of people. This community is going to expand significantly, and I don't want to lose the bonds that we built here. I think we've built a culture around this community that I hope that we can continue to spread. Obviously it's an open and decentralized community. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to come in. Anybody can come in, but I feel like we should all, pay this vibe forward as much as possible to continue fostering the really cool thing that we got going on here and try not to lose that going forward. M-Boy, what's up?
Yo, oh my days. What a fucking day. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. Man, we've been at it trying to finish our open beta. It's finally done. Fucking hell. I think we'll release that hopefully tomorrow or so. Yeah, they'll come out soon now. But yeah, I'm also just sharing some news. I'm going to Germany actually to see the team, also to see my cousins and stuff. So kind of business with pleasure, I guess. I think I can't wait to see the LUKSO team in person. So also you guys, man, in general, just fucking, it's been a year, just fucking talking about LUKSO, the weekly pink pills. I miss that. Fucking hell. But yeah, I think slowly getting there ETH, mainnet coming. Hopefully the party comes out too with the beta party. But yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. And the start of the journey though, right? It's just the start of the journey. That's the crazy thing about it. Although we've been here just fucking talking about LUKSO for years, but the journey is just about to start. That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, the journey is just about to start. That's the wild thing. And to see, like, it's almost overwhelming for me personally. So the rest of you can be like, what a dipshit. What do I care? Ethel despite his, vision glasses and snake hair, is a warm and cuddly human being and has a range of emotion and depth of emotion that might surprise you. And I'm a little emotional, although this is not. I certainly didn't make one line of code. I did not write one line of code. I feel so happy for the team to finally get this monkey off their back and get this thing shipped and out the door, because when you're holding on to when you're holding on to things, you've been developing it, but you haven't been able to talk about it, right? There's that layer of critique or FUD or doubt that comes in because others have nothing to talk about, so they just want to cast their dispersions. And this is the time to take that huge victory lap, and it makes me kind of emotional just seeing how this thing has gone. I can only imagine the toll it's taken on everybody to get this thing out the door, knowing how long it has been. This is something that started 5 years ago, so it's pretty outrageous that we're finally here. Yeah, I'm getting emotional, Alts.
That's good. That's a good sign. When ETH gets emotional, good things happen. It doesn't matter if it's bad emotion, that means good news is coming. If it's good emotion, it means better news is coming. It's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm the signal. When I flip bearish, you know that news is going to drop. If I'm bullish, then you should probably counter trade me as well, because that just means I'm probably too high as well. So use me as a signal.
It's funny, like I going back to ETH Denver, which was, I'm already blanking, maybe January or February, and Fabian did his keynote. And I mean, if you ever heard Fabian speak, just like Marjorie, it's like they're so damn good at explaining the most complicated things the way people can understand them. But it's always just great, and you always get more pink pilled, and you learn about more things that you hadn't quite thought about yet on this extremely deep level. But it was funny because at the end of it, he kind of nodded and said weeks, and that was kind of the first time we'd heard weeks, right? We'd only heard months before or soon, but we actually heard weeks. But it was like we were all still kind of like, we don't know, because we were like in the holding pattern mode, right? Because with previous delays, we just kind of switched it on. We're like, okay, we're just gonna wait until it's officially confirmed. But in his mind, he was like, but it's weeks, guys, and we were like, we'll see, I guess, because we're like, we were just tempering our expectations, I think. So it was kind of a hilarious moment, I think, because we didn't quite get the roar that he wanted, I think, because we didn't know. But now it's like, now that it's here, we're probably still like trying to wrap our minds around it because we've been thinking about it for so long. So it's quite surreal. And I think once the 23rd of May in 20 days gets here, it's just going to mark this insane next step for the entire space. It's, I don't know, it's going to be amazing, man. And then what do we have, like about 1 month of the discovery phase? with the Genesis validators only, and then we start stacking some stuff on top?
Yeah, then we go into loading up the universal profiles, and then the assets from L14 will be migrated, and that's when the OG assets from the dematerialized, and I see the Queen Fawn down there, that's when the dematerialized really gets its day in the sunlight, because there's so many incredible assets that can then start to be traded. These are OG assets on the LUKSO blockchain. And I think at that point, then the dematerialized can really spread its wings and show off just how powerful a platform that experiential marketplace is. And like things that just go totally under the radar, just like, the very first post of yesterday, so many of us have been, or of the space, so many of us have been talking about Artifact and Lebron. And again, just in the community and chats, like you knew that thing was out there. You knew LeBron had a clone. LeBron puts the AF1s on his feet and everybody loses their shit on Twitter. This is going to be the same thing. Like, everyone knows the connection between, or everyone in this space knows the connection between the Lagerfeld collection, and the dematerialized. The Met Gala was literally themed with the Lagerfeld collection, and it's just all it's going to take is one thing to bring this blockchain to launch, so the average person again can use the blockchain and not even know they're using it, and then support this really iconic collection, and it's going to explode. It's just going to explode. Right now, you couldn't go get these assets from Lagerfeld because they're non-tradable. Even if you were pilling people at the Met Gala, you would not be able to go out and buy these things because we can't move them around. Well, that's going to change. That's going to change within a couple months. And I'm just, again, pleased as punch that we're here, friends. That's what I'll say. Pleased as punch.
Oh, we just got an update. New team member added, Stephen Horvath. LUKSO's lead for the browser extension. That's exciting. If you don't know, the browser extension is going to open up a lot of stuff. Oh, he did work as Ledger's native extension. Oh, wow. That's legit.
And dripped out in LUKSO gear. Love it. Love it. Pink hoodie, the black hat. And I love that he worked on Ledger's native extension. That is an incredible move. Again, blockchain security being so damn important. I'm at a loss for words, Alts. I'm not usually at a loss for words. I'm a little overtaken here.
Yeah, man, I feel you, ETH. Fucking I'm with you, man. I think just being at the start of something new, I feel like I wasn't there for like Bitcoin, I wasn't there for Ethereum, but now I feel like LUKSO is that for me, and I think the majority of people will be there first too. So yeah, I definitely feel the emotion where it's coming from as well. I think, yeah, it's hard to explain, man. Like I said, we've been just at it, pink pilling people, even just inside the space and outside the world too. Like my family, it's funny that even my mom's like fucking asking about like all this kind of stuff with NFTs and all these kind of things that we talk about. So it's like it's reaching normal like quote unquote people's like mind. But yeah, it's great. Times are changing, man. Like how Fabian said about timing, like as well. Like it's funny how the universe works. It's really funny.
Yeah, timing of it's hilarious, right? Yeah, it just seems like the perfect time. Like now, if you kind of zoom out, right? Obviously, like we had to be more patient, but the result of that, like launching with a fully fleshed out, E2.0 layer one EVM machine with the suite of tools, and for the market, the overall macro to be changing, right? Because we could have launched probably a year ago in a much, at the in a much more complicated spot from the overall, macro environment, considering Bitcoin and everything else. But yeah, it feels like the timing is just perfect in the end. That it was perfect, which is gonna be crazy. It's crazy.
Like I think, yeah, there's just less stigma around all this stuff too, right? Like crypto and all. Like it's just accepted globally. Like it's weird now. Like people aren't really shitting on it as much before. Like they just, yeah, like society changes, perception changes, and and like the pink waves coming to fucking eat everything up. Like it's for us to even say that, and like I see it in my head, but I wish I can also like share my eyes with you guys. But I'm sure some of you guys see it too, you know. Like, but yeah, it's only a matter of time, I guess. You just have to keep on showing, and yeah, like I said, the journey's just starting. You know, I think you just have to keep on at it. Fucking yeah, keep pushing. I messaged Fabian too through DMs. Like, just keep pushing, man. Keep fucking pushing. We're here to back you. Like, I think that's the with blockchain and all this kind of stuff, right? Like, we're just building on top of each other and like helping each other out. You know, so I think that's how I see it. That's how I see all this.
I love that Envoy shows up, and I'm gonna put the not safe for work on this Twitter space from now on. That's like my favorite thing.
My me, man, is I gotta swear, it's my passion. You know.
A lot of people have passion. They have a passion about, their pet hermit crab, crocheting. You can be passionate about a lot of things. Envoy's passionate about his expletives. I appreciate that about you, Envoy. I really do. This is a Twitter space this morning that I think is a little interesting because there's lots of things that we could talk about that are pretty substantive regarding the LUKSO blockchain. Right? We could get into projects. We could get into standards. We could get into really exciting things that we think are coming. And I'm left sitting here staring at that date at the top of this space, at the top of my Twitter profile right now. And like, taking a deep breath is probably wrong because there's still work to do because we need to actually get this network launched. But being someone who has now his validators deposited, being someone who's set up his node, being someone who has been waiting for this moment for so long now, like I just feel like for the first time I can participate in a really meaningful way, even though I don't directly work for the project. I mean, don't get me wrong, lighting up Twitter spaces and tweeting and getting all over crypto Twitter and telling people about LUKSO is helping in our own way, right? I mean, right? But this is a more direct involvement to actually sit here, get mainnet off the ground, and run a validator or run some validators. Participating in L16 was important because without L16, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do a lot of the development on the backside. If let's be honest, if L16 was not run, we would not have things like Universal Page. But without mainnet, honestly, we don't have a project. So it doesn't matter how bullish we are about pink flamingos, we'd be screwed. And it makes me feel really good that we've got 10,000 validators deposited, actually more than that at this point. People that are willing to put up 10,000 units of stake to back this ecosystem. That's fantastic for such a small holder base to have dedicated people who are willing to participate. I'm excited. I'm just like ready to go. Ready to go. Alts locked and loaded, man.
So many people too that have just reached out and like, man, I've been following LUKSO for the longest time, or they just discovered it, but they have this idea, this concept that like, man, did I miss it? Is it too late? And it's like, no, it's not even remotely close to too late. Like, if you just compare like I don't know, once you dig in and do the work and which sometimes it can, I mean, I don't know, I did it for like 3 months when I first dug into this project. I spent hours every day, and now it's much easier. The information's been kind of collected, from the community, so it's out there. But you can dig in and really kind of get an idea and understanding of the fundamental side of things. And once you do that, you have I don't know, most people kind of have a consensus like, okay, we're definitely like a top 20 project, hands down. Like, that's not even counting if there's NDAs from some giant brands, right? Just from a fundamental standpoint alone, it's huge, right? And that being, said, if you compare to other projects in the top 20 in terms of market cap, in terms of, tier one listings, in terms of community members, wallets, like we're nowhere even remotely close to that. We're still ranked number 223 last I checked. We've got 15,000 wallets. That's not even necessarily holders, that's just wallets. Like, I mean, we're still so insanely early, right? We're not even mainnet yet. We still have our, Ethereum based token. So yeah, it doesn't mean you have to like dive in, financially, whatever. That's everybody has their own, strategy for that. But like, it's the perfect time to dive in and start learning about this because up until now you would have had to wait X amount of time, to get to mainnet. But if you kind of stumble in right before mainnet, it's like such a great timing too, right? There's still so much room for growth, kind of in every way, shape, or form. So yeah, we're still early, fam.
You mentioned an elevator pitch, also. I think the best elevator pitch that I've ever seen for LUKSO was not very wordy. Instead, it was the old "I'm a PC" versus "I'm a Mac" commercial. I think it was FICO, community member FICO, who originally put this thing out. And if you are too young, or you didn't see this commercial in the country you're from, it was the idea that, like, I'm pretty sure it was a Mac commercial, it was an Apple commercial, and it was showing like a stereotypical PC, and it was kind of like powerful but difficult to use and a little bit less stylish, versus "I'm a Mac," and it was a person like totally under control, like, yeah, very sleek, very stylish. And I look at that like the "I'm a PC" is "I'm Ethereum," and the "I'm a Mac" is "I'm LUKSO. I like to think of the very simple elevator pitch would be if you could get that image in people's mind, and you could think of it like Ethereum is very powerful in the same way like an Android phone is very powerful, can be, but there's a reason why iPhones are proliferate, because they're easy to use and it's intuitive. Ethereum is very powerful. You can do a lot with it, but it's going to be a little difficult to use. LUKSO is going to be like your trusty Mac. You open it up and it works, and it's very intuitive. You can get anybody to use an Apple product. It just makes sense. I feel like that is like a pitch. I don't know how to. The image is more of the elevator pitch than the words I just used, because it sounds like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But that's how I feel about it. I feel like LUKSO is more of the Apple of the blockchain space, so to speak.
And just on that is right. Like, imagine how much fucking disruption Apple did to, like, the iPhone did to the world, right? Like, all this, the Twitter, Facebook apps. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's I think it's definitely the right analogy. Like I said, like the beginning, just starting, we haven't even seen what types of projects that signed the NDAs and all this kind of stuff, but just seeing, like, digging deep down with, for example, like yours, the what it can provide, the tools it can provide to social media and all this kind of stuff. I mean, like, it's coming, it's definitely coming. It's just, in my eyes, man, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time when it's gonna come. Like, users will come in, like you said, it's only one killer app that takes one traction, to bring people in, and then boom, it's like the network effect is just crazy from because of the standards, like you said, being able to have assets on different platforms all in under one, like, account. That's crazy. Never, like, heard of. Like, yeah, just crazy, man. Crazy thinking about it. Crazy, very, very crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I think the average person definitely doesn't even understand crypto at all, right? There's the younger generation spend so much time and effort and energy on social media. A lot of them building their own careers and identities that way, right? But they have no idea that they don't own any of it, which is just like such a such a crazy thing, right? But they don't know that there's an option yet, So it's coming. It's just a matter of time, and I think it's gonna, yeah, the curve, it's gonna be an exponential curve, right? Like, the adoption curve is gonna be so fast. I mean, crypto in general is already adopting at twice the speed as the internet did, right? And I think it will be just as transformative, for everything we do over time, because of that ownership will be so important. So yeah, I think once you see, a big brand come in and utilize these tools in a fresh new way, yeah, you're going to see people rushing to try it out. Not to mention with the team, the foundation, like, subsidizing gas transactions, right? So it's going to be free to come test and play and build. Like, it's going to be hard to pass up for a lot of people, I think.
I'm actually efforting to find that video. I'm a PC versus I'm a Mac. So give me a minute here.
Which one, the OG one or the one that someone in the community made?
Nah, the OG one, just so people get a sense for what that is.
I gotta hop off. I got a call in like 15 minutes. I always love talking to you guys. Fucking love you all. Yeah, hopefully see you guys LUKSO party one day or something. I don't know, man. It's definitely we definitely gotta meet up each other in real life. I don't know. Although we speak on these Twitter spaces, but for me, maybe I'm a bit traditional. I love to, physical touch is one of my love languages, I guess. So, but yeah, catch you as all.
You're free to
Cheers,
touch
James.
alts all you want. You're free to touch alts all you want. Myself, I like a personal bubble.
I mean, my arms, these 8 arms, are for hugging, but also self-defense. So, tread carefully. It's a dangerous game.
All right, there's 0% chance I'm getting that video up in a short fashion. I'll have to post it up after because I'm sitting here just staring at my phone away from my Mac right now, and there's no way that I'm going to get that video up. So you can just imagine what I was talking about. If anyone else would like to come up and talk, please do. Otherwise, we've been going for 1 hour and 2 minutes at this point since I started the jazzy music this morning. And I think we're pretty bullish otherwise. So, I mean, we could just sit here and keep being bullish this morning, which is always easy to do. But I don't think there's a lot of content that's coming out of myself or alts at the moment. We're both just reflective and very excited, which I think the community is in general. I'll tell you, knowing how expensive it is to run a validator on Ethereum right now, if you are looking for a secure yield long term, you should evaluate the merits of proof of stake networks and being able to run validators on proof of stake networks. I'm not telling you should do it for LUKSO, right? Because that would be inappropriate, again, for me to tell you to do anything specific with your money. However, a stable yield with passive income is something that lots of you are hoping for in your life. That is like what lots of people dream about in their life. Right now, I know of at least one blockchain where getting a validator stake is fairly inexpensive, and you probably have a bunch of shitty NFTs that just sit in your wallet right now that you might be able to even turn around for a stake or two. Right now, it might seem like small money, but there's a chance in the near future it could feel like bigger money and could become the passive income, which would enable you to pursue some of the dreams in your life. Don't overlook that opportunity and make sure that you evaluate the opportunities that are in front of you. That's what I would say.
It's not financial advice. It's life advice, alpha advice.
Yes. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but I'm telling you if you don't do that with your money, you're probably dumb.
I mean, what does it cost right now? Let's see. 1444 times 32. You can get a validator for $462. Not too shabby. If you want one on Ethereum, it's going to cost you 60 grand.
Right. And if you don't know the yield, so even if we get to a stable yield, the projected stable yield for LUKSO that the team originally wrote in the white paper, which was like 6%, right? If you were yielding 6%, that's 6% denominated in the LYX token. Just like if you're earning a 5% yield on Ethereum right now, it is a 5% yield denominated in the ETH token. So, like, you really have to be honest about the opportunity that's presented in front of you. Like, let's be honest, friends. Most of you, if you have a savings account, you're not yielding that type of return, right? So instead of putting your money in a bank, how about you take the leap and become quote unquote bankless and self custody your own money and find a stable yield that you're in control of.
But yeah, and you're also helping support the blockchain and the ecosystem, being an active participant in validating. That's a big win for the space as well.
Yeah, we become more anti-fragile the more of you that choose to do this very important work. The more node, even if you can't run a validator, if you can run a full node, right? That is another important thing. Like, we just need nodes in as many houses as we can get spread out around the world. Like, the more that you do this, the better it's going to get. The better it's going to be for everyone, the more stable this is going to become. What you don't want would be maniacs who are just running tons and tons and tons of these validators and creating very centralized positions, because then anybody can come, or anybody could come and potentially shut that down, or you could have a problem in that area and it would put the network at jeopardy, right? We want as many validators as possible. Okay, well, on that note, if you haven't gone out and, circling right back to the beginning, if you have been thinking, I really like Air Force Ones, and you have yet to get yourself some of those amazing Air Force Ones from the season 1 drop from CloneX, I think that you should consider doing that before the forge closes on May 8th. The reason I say that is there's 2 reasons. One, LeBron had them on their feet, so if you need a social signal that these things are huge, it's right there. It's actually in the first pinned tweet. The second reason I'd say that is I got a large box filled with season 1 drip yesterday delivered to my house. And as I unboxed the many, many bags, more bags than I probably needed, my wife said, "Are you fucking serious right now?" That's a direct quote. I said, "Yes, I am fucking serious." And then I gawked at it. I'm going to tell you, the quality of this gear that Artifact's putting out is incredible. Like, these Phygitals they're insane. To think that these Air Force Ones are not going to deliver on that level, if you haven't had the opportunity to see them in person, you are insane. These things are going to be high quality. They're going to really set a bar for what's possible for these kind of Phygitals that come out here. Friends, you are missing an opportunity that is ripe for the taking. That's my plug. I'm telling you. I am telling you.
Listen to ETH. He is telling you. He's literally dropping alpha.
Yeah. Alts, did you get your box yet?
No, I didn't. I have a couple boxes supposed to be coming today. We'll see. I'm literally holding my breath.
I had one box arrive, but I did not have another box arrive. So the reason I know this is because I bought too much stuff. And can you have too much stuff? The answer is no, you can't.
Most definitely not have too much of this stuff.
I'm really looking forward. Like, the robot vest I wanted, and it didn't come yesterday, and I didn't see anyone post that yet. And then the other one is I didn't see any of the Murakami drip, like long sleeve, short sleeve hoodies. None of that stuff showed up either.
Well, it's coming in batches, so I know some of the Murakami drip will be coming later. I don't know if this was mostly like some of the Murakami stuff and the robot and angel and demon. I think some human stuff as well. Like, it's kind of batched out, so I'm not sure exactly what was coming. I mean, yeah, some of those pieces, like, if I get the robot vest, I will definitely post that to show you. But there's a few pieces that I cannot wait to get. Shout out Undead Varsity Gang, like that varsity jacket. I think that's Clones of the Bones, right? Like, that's going to be one of the most epic pieces, I think.
Oh, that's going to be hot. I'm looking forward to that. The Undead hoodie came yesterday. That thing is incredible. Demon jersey. I got a demon jersey. That thing was insane too. I'm pleased as punch, to say it for the second time today, about the new wardrobe that I have. I could, I think, go 7 days a week in Artifact gear and not wear the same thing twice for a while, which is honestly saying a lot, given I'm a pretty much a jeans and t-shirt guy. I'm into I'm a big fan of the season 1 drip.
What's crazy is that, like, yeah, these projects that we're in, Clones and Artifact and LUKSO, they have, like, I mean, to me, the best drip out of any project. Those are the best too, from like a quality and style standpoint. Like, I have stuff from so many other projects that are just pretty mediocre. Not gonna lie.
Pretty mediocre. That's right. You know what's not mediocre? The pink hoodie.
Yeah, shout out Mason Lux. Like, I can't wait to find out what they have in store too. I know they got some heat.
They're gonna drop some info.
Yeah, I think maybe a little insight into their little ecosystem they have going.
Yeah. And if you know about things right now and you're not telling us, that's perfectly fine because that's your job, but it doesn't mean I like you anymore. Or what am I trying to say? It doesn't mean that I will ever forgive you for not telling me right now. That's what I meant to say.
Well, now that I'm like looking at Juan's eyes, she's hiding some shit. I can tell, man. Like, this is not cool. Fine. What the hell?
Yeah. This is how it goes, alts. We're always getting frozen out on the outside. We're just the cheerleaders. We're like the biggest fans. We're just on the other side of the fence. We love you guys. We just don't know shit. It's okay though. It always requires a few people to be like that. All right. We're gonna talk alts because I didn't know what I was doing. I like stimmed and clapped my hands real quick.
No, I just said it was needed. We need schlubs like us too to prop this thing up.
We're like the derpy clones that are just on the outside. Like that should be like pretty much our job. We're the guys who are just clapping from the audience while other people are doing cool shit. So I guess, and then in our own world, we have like the Wayne's World late night GM studio that we're just like making our own public access TV show. So I guess we've been going on now for an hour and 15 minutes. That is truly probably the limit of what was needed this morning. This is coming. It's coming hot now, friends. The freeze is inbound on 5/9. If you are going to get a validator in, you should get that thing in quickly. It doesn't matter if you get 1 or you get 20, right? Or you get 100, although it gets more expensive with gas. If you are thinking about doing it, just take the plunge. Take the plunge. Why? Because you're doing important work for the network, honestly. And if you choose not to, I totally respect that as well, because this is a long journey that we've been on, but we've been out at sea for a long time with no land, and someone just yelled land ho, and we can see that. We can see on the horizon this landform coming up here, friends. We're about to get on shore and start to make a new world for ourselves.
And don't forget, there will be other options. Like if you're not technically savvy, don't worry. Like after mainnet, there'll be options like DApp node to set up your own hardware. There'll also be staking services that will be popping up. So yeah, don't worry. You'll be able to help support regardless of your skill set. But if you have the technical know-how, I highly recommend getting that Genesis status if possible.
I'm trying to FOMO people in, all right, and you're giving them all the reasons to not do it.
I mean, there's no timeline. We don't know when those other options will come. So, when it comes, it's here.
I do know the staking verse, which is part of the LUKSO verse project, that will come very, very quickly after the launch of Universal Profiles. So we're talking within a couple months of the mainnet launch, you will have the staking verse up, which is a staking pool. There'll be more information to come, but I know that Jordy Dutch is already working very, very actively to get that off the ground. So I'm not telling you exactly what's coming, but I'm telling you, if you're a person that's non-technical, you're not going to run a validator set from your house, you're not an at-home staker, there are going to be options for you. And I know you want to pay attention to the staking verse. You can find that on the LUKSO verse website. Okay. Well, I guess that's going to close it all. It's because I'm going to go back to doing what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to look at price repeatedly, maybe 450 times a day, until we reach the threshold that I can just do this even longer. I could just leave these spaces open for an indefinite time period, and we could really keep it real.
Cool. Yeah. No, I think we're all kind of doing that. But just know this: if we don't quite make the $50, it's because maybe we don't want you here that much.
Funny.
Just know,
Funny.
Just know when we crack 50, that means everyone's like, all right, we need as much ETH as we can get.
All right, fair enough. Oh, hey, I guess maybe here right at the end of the space, because most people have tuned out. If they got to the end, they're like, I'm gonna hang up now, and they might already because they know we're trying to wrap it up. Metaheads Genesis, we gonna see that before mainnet?
It is highly likely, yes, sir.
Oh, highly likely. So we're gonna have a Metaheads Genesis. It's inbound, imminent, as one would say. I think that's the only thing that's been said about Metaheads Genesis, because we don't say shit. Metaheads project says very little until it's actually ready to go, but it's probably there. So you should keep an eye out for that, friends. Alta's not going to say anything. You're such a pain in the ass.
Bro, you've already said too much, man.
Oh, shit. All right. Okay. So on that line, I'm going to go. I'm going to do my thing. I hope everybody has a wonderful Web3 Wednesday. Whatever you're working on, may you find only success. And I guess we'll be back again next week on 5/10, which will be the day after the freeze. We'll know exactly how many validators are going to go in at Genesis, and the countdown will truly be on. So enjoy Web3 Wednesday. Take advantage of the Forge that ends on the 8th. Do not miss that opportunity to get iconic artifact pieces on your feet. And if you need more information about LUKSO, feel free to reach out to anyone in the community. Visit the LUKSOverse, visit Keys DAO. Until next week, I'm the ETHLorian. I'm saying goodbye. All two say goodbye, and then I'm going to rug it.
All right, I just needed one pregnant pause before we went. We didn't have one all day, so there you go. Enjoy your Web3 Wednesday, fam.
Rugged.